Hey everybody, this is Paul Jost with Jost Tech Inspections and Jost Technologies, and I wanted to spend some time today talking about what do we do when we go into a house? How do we do what we do? When we're testing for mold and mildew, we're looking for VOCs or chemicals, or maybe formaldehyde and maybe asbestos. Those are the things that we can look for. And so I wanted to show you some of the things that we have here that I use when I'm doing an inspection. So first of all, on the end here we have, this is my box for our air samples. The air samples are the things that we use, the little aerosol, to gather what is in the breathing air of the people's house that we're in. We hook it up to our pump here, run it at 15 liters per minute. For 5 minutes gives us 75 liters, and the lab can take this apart and then tell us what's inside, what type of molds they are. We can also do a swab test. And what a swab test is it gives us an exactly what it is. For instance, you could say Aspergillus penicillium, but there's lots of Aspergillus, there's lots of penicillium strains. So those are the things we do when we want to know exactly what we're looking for. I use these probably about 15% of the time, but the aerosols I use everywhere, because it's real important that we know what people are breathing. The other thing we can do is a tape lift. This has got a little sticky on it right here, and we put that on the mold, and then we get a direct lift of what mold is, and they can tell me what type of mold that is. When we're in the house, we have 3 different technologies we use to find where there might be water, because we know that where there's water, there's probably going to be mold. This is a thermal imager, and the thermal imager works by using heat and cool. So when it comes on, we can see where there's warm spots, where there's cool spots, and the cooler the temperature, the darker the color, and that also may mean more moisture in that area as compared to the rest of the wall with wood or sheetrock. This is my moisture meter, one I've used for many years from X-Tech. I've probably gone through 6 or 8 of these. We can use the pin or the pinless to figure out what moisture level is in the substrate. I use these a lot in attic spaces to see what the middle of the wood looks like, how wet it is. And the third tool in this little toolbox is our humidity meter. Humidity meter is important because we know that mold will grow at a certain humidity or higher. Right now out here this evening it's 39%, and you see it's going down a little bit as the wind hits it. This is about average for Washington State in the summertime, between 30 and 40%. We want an optimal at 50% is optimal inside the house. We also use some tubes. The tubes for checking for formaldehyde. This is a formaldehyde sampling thing, which plugs into one of these little air pumps. And this air pump runs for formaldehyde for 25 minutes, and then they can tell, what the level of formaldehyde is. If we're looking for VOCs or chemicals, we run it for an hour and a half through the same type of tube, but it's designed strictly for volatile organic compounds. We can also check for asbestos in the air. That's what this little thing is, and just a little bit different timing on the pump. And when we go into attics and things, I like to be covered up so I don't breathe the bad stuff. This is a good mask. I've seen actually a few people using these in grocery stores and things, which is kind of funny, but right now with the COVID, that's not a bad thing. And in the attic, I also use a headlight. Now this is a new headlight which I found, and it's pretty sweet because it uses LEDs, which means I don't have to pinpoint with the old headlight that I had that was more of a pinpoint light. This gives me the view of the whole attic space. So those are some of the tools that I use every day when we're in houses, and thought you'd want to know that or see what we do. But if you have any questions, give me a holler. I'd like to talk to you about these things. So this is Paul with Jost Technologies, and Joe's Tech Inspections. Have a great evening, and we have the sun just about ready to set out here. So a beautiful evening out in the Northwest. Bye-bye.